Hi, I'm Ash. I'll be guiding you through your practice. Today we're going to stretch the wrists. We'll start in a tabletop position. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Tuck the toes and see if you can get your thumbs to point towards each other and the middle fingers to point forward. Covering as much surface area with the hands as you can. Engage your core. Squeeze the belly button in towards the spine. Hug in those ribs and support the lower back. As you inhale, we're going to lean forward so our shoulders come towards our fingertips and our hips come down slightly. And then as we exhale, we sit our hips back towards our heels. Couple more times like that. Inhale forward, little pressure in the wrists, and then exhale, sit your hips back towards your heels. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to sit back. Inhale to come forward, lean a little bit forward, and exhale to sit back. Feel the stretch in the arches of the feet. Inhale back to your neutral tabletop, and we'll change it up this time. We're going to spin our fingertips outward. So the inner wrists are now facing each other. The middle finger points in opposite directions. And ever so slowly, we're going to add a gentle sway from side to side. The core is still engaged, supporting the lower back, swaying the shoulder blades and the hips from side to side, feeling the stretch underneath the wrists. It's really up to you how much pressure you put into your palms. You can also press into your finger pads as you add a gentle sway from side to side. Coming back to center, let's spin the right fingertips forward, just like as if you were in tabletop regularly. And then we'll spin the left fingertips backward. Here's where it changes. Now, ideally, your left middle finger is directly pointing to your left knee, and your right middle finger is pointing forward. Now, staying with your neutral tabletop, we're going to press the left finger pads into the mat. And as you inhale, lean your hips back, only lift the palm. Exhale, return your palm back to the floor. 2 more times. Inhale to lean back. Press into the finger pads. Feel the stretch underneath the wrist. Exhale, come forward. Press into the palm. Last one. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, return. Now from here, pick up the left hand and ever so gently return it to neutral. Other side. Pick up the right hand and spin your fingertips around. Now your middle finger should be pointing towards the right knee. You can keep a straight elbow, or you can find a micro bend. Now I noticed when I bent my elbow slightly, it already intensified the stretch. Now keeping the finger pads on the mat, inhale, lift the right palm, lean back. Exhale, lean forward, return the palm to the floor. Inhale to lean back. Exhale, return. Last one, inhale to lean back. And exhale, return the palm to the floor. Good. Now we're going to bend at the elbow, pick up the hand, and come back to our tabletop. Now with the toes tucked, let's sit our hips onto our heels. So not only are we stretching the wrist, but we're also stretching the arches of the feet. Now sometimes our pinky toes are loose, so we want to tuck them in so you're nice and comfortable. Your sit bones are in line with your heels. Don't let your ankles splay out to the sides. Keep them nice and sturdy, stretching out the arches of the feet as we continue to stretch the wrists. If at any point it becomes too much on the arches of the feet, come to the tops of the feet and just sit on your heels like this. But if you can, see if you can keep those toes tucked and continue to stretch the arches of the feet. They're often neglected. All right, from here, we're going to place our thumbs inside our palms, wrap our fingers around our thumbs, and start to make circles with the wrists. Think about your posture as well, sitting up nice and tall. Chest is lifted, crown of the head is lifted. Now let's switch the circles and go in the opposite direction. And then from here, we're going to open, close, open, close, open, close your hands numerous times. Inhale to open your hands, spread your fingers as wide as you can. Exhale, squeeze your fists into a tight ball. Twice more. Inhale, open your hands, spread your fingers wide. Exhale, squeeze your fists nice and tight. One more. Inhale, open your hands. And then exhale, squeeze your fists. Now from here, give your wrists a gentle shake. Just shake out the hands, let them be limp. Good. Interlace your hands now. If it's too much on the arches of the feet, come to the tops of the feet now. Still sitting up nice and tall. Start to make figure eights with your wrists and your hands interlaced. Breathing through any little creaks and cracks of the wrists, sitting up tall still, nice straight spine. Think about your posture. And let's switch directions. So now the awkward part is making figure eights in the opposite direction, keeping the palms together. Good. Now from here, we're going to return to our neutral tabletop and release the feet. Pitter patter the tops of the feet onto your mat. You should feel quite good after stretching the arches of the feet. Wonderful. And then from here, we're going to stretch the tops of the wrists. So with your neutral tabletop, pick up your left hand and place the top of the hand now on the mat. So you can see again, my middle finger is pointing towards my left knee, but the top of the hand is what's pressing on the mat. My right hand stays where it normally goes in our neutral tabletop. Now, very similarly, we're going to inhale to lean back. Keep your fingernails this time on the mat. Just lift the top of the wrist and exhale, come forward. Twice more. Inhale, lean back. Feel the stretch on the top of the hand, top of the wrist. Exhale, return. Last one. Inhale to lean back. And exhale to come forward. Good. Pick up your hand and return to your neutral tabletop placement. And then from here, we'll pick up the right hand. Bring your middle finger so it's pointing towards your right knee and come to the top of the hand. So the top of the hand is what's pressing into the mat. All right, 3 times, ever so slowly. Inhale to lean back. Keep the fingernails pressing into the floor. Only lift the top of the hand. Exhale, come forward. Twice more like this. Inhale to lean back. Core is engaged, supporting the lower back. Exhale to come forward. Last one. Inhale to lean back. And exhale to come forward. Good. When you're ready, pick up your hand, return it to where it was, and be very kind to your wrists. Let's tuck our toes once again. Sit back onto your heels. Place your fingers inside your palms. Wrap your fingers around your thumbs and make some wrist circles. And then switch directions. And then from here, we're coming to downward facing dog. Return your hands to your tabletop, walk your knees back a few inches, tuck your toes, and as you inhale, start to lift your knees, start to lift your hips up and back, ideally making an upside down V shape with the body. If it's your first downward dog of the day, you can keep your knees slightly bent, keep your heels slightly lifted, your feet are about hip width apart, and your hands are about shoulder width apart. Think about lifting your tailbone up and back, bringing as much length in the spine as you can, drawing your chest towards your thighs. I was going to say shins, but those are thighs. All right, from here, you can release the crown of the head. Let the ears fall between the biceps. Notice your wrists. Maybe you add a gentle sway of the hips from side to side. Spread the fingers as wide as you can. Press into the L shape of the hands, the pointer finger and the thumb area of the palms. Let's take a couple breaths in our downward facing dog. If you like, you can come high to the toes and pedal out the feet, bending one knee, lower the opposite heel. And then come high to your toes and switch. Bend the opposite knee as you lower the opposite heel. When you feel good, return to downward facing dog. Take an inhale, come high to your toes. Exhale, lower onto your knees. You can find yourself in a cross-legged position. If you'd like to come to easy pose to close your practice, you can. Sitting up nice and tall. Maybe close your eyes. We'll take one breath together as we close our wrist stretch practice. Inhale, reach the arms up. Gather energy, palms to touch. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to guide you through your wrist stretch practice. From my love and light to yours. Namaste.